So hello my dear friends, welcome back. Welcome to your channel Cooking Astrology. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for subscribing my channel and liking my videos. Thanks a lot. So let's continue our journey, our series of planets through 5th house in Navamsa Chart in Vedic Astrology. And in this particular video, let's try to understand Mars placement in the 5th house of your D-9 chart. And what are going to be the positive and negative results that are particularly associated with this placement? Let's try to understand in this video. Before actually deeply diving into the results that are created by planet Mars, first of all, you need to understand the 5th house of the D-9 chart. Now, 5th house particularly is the house which represents the specialization and the skill set which is present inside you. Even the capacity of a person to adapt according to the environment, according to the surroundings, that part is also seen through the 5th house. Even both in the D1 and even in the D9 chart, any sort of association happening between 5th house lord of the D1 into the D9 chart is also a representation of the situations that you are going to be dealing at the time of the childbirth. Any yogas that are created between the D1 and D9 chart specifically with regards to 5th house is also going to create the prosperity after obtaining the children into your life. This is also the house which represents the sudden rise in your bhagya. Now this is the sudden rise in your bhagya specifically after your marriage, or how your life partner is going to contribute into your financial side of the life. So that kind of yogas are also seen through the 5th house. Now whenever the malefics, specifically like planet Mars, is actually going into your 5th house, this have the capacity to bless you with a lot of technical skills, or your mindset is actually going to be very technically wired kind of a personality. And you will also see, as soon as you are getting married or you are just about to reach the maturity age of planet Mars, that is the age of 28, this is actually going to create your mindset shift into the field of the technical sides of the life. Suppose before the age of 28, you have studied something different education, working maybe in the financial sector or some other sector. As soon as this is getting fully activated at the age of 28, this have the capacity to create a total shift in the working environment and even the career of a native. Second important thing, you also need to understand if there are some other malefic or benefic planets that are particularly in conjunction with planet Mars or not, or whether this Mars is posited all alone up there. Because if more the planets that are actually getting conjunct with planet Mars, suppose Mars is in conjunction with 2 or 3 or 4 other planets specifically, and if you find that cluster of planets are actually posited around the Mars, now this is also going to create a very spiritual kind of a combination. And here, whatever the planets that are in conjunction with planet Mars, these planets are actually going to be responsible for creating that spiritual journey into your life. Specifically, the significator of each and every planet that is in conjunction with planet Mars is responsible for your spiritual upliftment. For example, like moon is up there. So because of the moon, that is your mother, this is going to create the spiritual upliftment in your life. Similarly, planet Sun is the representation of a father, Venus is the representation of a spouse or life partner. So in that way, you need to check and study the planetary conjunctions. Now, when I'm saying the spiritual upliftment is going to be up there, it's not necessary like you are going to have a positive relationship with that particular planet. It may be with your mother, father, your siblings, with your spouse. There might going to be chances, there are going to be negative kind of a relationship that is happening between you and that particular person. And because of that experiences that you are going to gain in the initial stages of your life, this have the capacity to reshape your further relationships, or even how you are going to practically see the bond or the relationship specifically with your spouse or life partner after marriage. That is also getting totally reshaped by looking into the 5th house. Because more the cluster of planets are up there, it shows the more initial love life failures that are actually going to be associated with your life. Because if the dignity of the 5th house specifically, if the dignity of the 5th house is very powerful, or the planet that is itself posited in the 5th house of D9 is extremely powerful. So they have the capacity to protect your 5th house. They also have the capacity to protect your marriage and the married life aspect. It's not necessarily malefics or the benefics. They are going to although behave in the different manner, but if the dignity is very strong, planet always try their best to protect that area of your life. Now, in order for the Mars to offer the protection in your relationship or in your marriage or married life aspect, the initial failures are going to become somewhat necessary. And that is where the foundation of your marriage and married life aspect is also going to be laid down by the initial failures that you are actually going to accomplish into your life. Next important point, you also need to check whether there are going to be association of Rahu and Ketu axis in this chart or not. Because Rahu and Ketu axis whenever is in 5th and 11th, this is going to create a very strong karma. And this is actually a fixed karma or a Drid Karma if Rahu and Ketu axis are coming in that area. And that is the karma which is associated with your children actually. You remember initially I discussed about the sudden rise of Bhagya or the sudden rise in the fortune that is happening after getting married or maybe after obtaining the childbirth. Here specifically if the Rahu and Ketu axis that is in conjunction with Mars directly opposite Ketu, suppose in Jupiter or any other planet. So if the axis is also forming in that area, that is also a pure representation where sudden prosperity, sudden money that you are going to attract after obtaining the children. Now it means it's not necessary like only the Lakshmi yoga or the wealth giving yoga are actually present in your horoscope. These are the wealth giving yogas which are actually present in your children's chart. And because of that children prosperity yoga, as a father and mother, you need to work hard towards achieving that amount of financial success in your life. And that is why yoga is getting transmitted from the kids chart into your life. In this way, you can also study with the combination of you and your life partner at the same time. Like how both of our 5th house is aligning with the energy of our kids' 5th house. Because as I told you, 5th house represents your capacity to adapt according to the environment. It shows the like your adaptability and even the flexibility which is actually present inside you, and how both of you are going to deal with some difficult situations of the life. It may be family situations, it may be suppose suddenly it requires you to change a place because of personal reasons or professional reasons. So planets in the 5th house actually represents your response, that is your reaction, how you are going to react towards any major changes or any big changes that are happening in your life. Now, if the planet is in very strong dignity, like Mangal is in Ucha Rashi in its own zodiac sign, even in the Mars in the sign of Scorpio is not considered good here. So Mars in Aries, or if it is exalted, then what is happening, it shows the flexibility and adaptability is going to be present up there. Because here at the time of horoscope matchmaking also, when we do the Guna Milan between both male and female, we must need to pay attention towards the 5th house of both male and female charts. Because if one is having the malefic energy association up there, it shows the person, it becomes very difficult for that person to become bend according to the environment. Whereas, for example, you are having Mars in the 5th house, your partner, spouse having Mercury, Jupiter, Moon, benefics in the 5th house, it shows the flexibility and adaptability is going to be coming from your partner into your life. And that is where this is actually going to create a very perfect bond. If both of you are having a malefics in the 5th house of the D9 chart, then this is actually going to create the friction between both of your opinions. Here, one mindset is going to be going into different area, second mindset is going to be in different area. And that you can see will eventually going to happen in all the areas of your life. It's not necessarily only the marriage is getting impacted. It means your personal life, your finances, your career, that is also getting impacted because of the planet in the 5th house. One more thing I request you, malefics in the 5th house tend to create a very impatient kind of a behavior inside these people. Because malefic urja or the energy of the malefics in the 5th house is getting very intensified. And these planets actually, Mars also is, as I told you, is a technical planet. If it is in conjunction with Mercury or some other planets up there, what is happening? The mind is going towards making a lot of money then. Because here the financial aspect is also getting very strong. Mars is the representation of real estate, land, property related matters, any sort of commission oriented work, any sort of a business ideas, business dealings. So Mars have the capacity to actually look into more into the career aspect as well, because malefics have the capacity to become the provider. It's not like that only Mars, even the Saturn, even if Rahu, even the Ketu, so they have the capacity to dominate or to act as a number one provider in the marriage and the married life aspect. It's also not necessary whether you are a male or a female. This planet have the capacity to create that dominating impact up there, where Mars is like, okay, I'm the provider, so I'm going to provide each and everything towards my family. Now, it doesn't matter whether Mars is utilizing some fair or unfair means in order to provide that thing, but Mars have the capacity to become the provider up there. And that is where with the malefic planets, you need to become bit patient, because I have seen lot of marriage and married life aspect that are actually getting haywire in this or that direction because of the impatient behavior of one particular person. If the other person is also going to have impatient behavior, then that is not a good thing. But if one is having impatient behavior because of malefics, you need to look or find a partner who is having benefics into the 5th house. This have the capacity to actually create a more stable energy into the 5th house of your life. So I hope you have gained some deep insights with regards to Mars placement in this video with me. If you are having any queries, any consultation with regards to your Mars placement, any other marriage, career, even spiritual or business consultation, do let me know. I will try my best to respond you back as soon as possible. Till then, please make sure to contact me at my email ID or subscribe my YouTube channel below. I will try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Till then, please take care of yourself and Hare Krishna.